You know, today I was thinking like, oh my God, there's really no real truth to the whole twin flame story. There are so many different stories out there about twin flames that there's no real truth here. You know, to even say it's a twin flame thing. I've heard so many different stories, so many. It's funny because the first time I ever experienced a different connection was in 2014, I think. And I remember the first time I laid eyes on this guy, it was like I knew him before. He felt very familiar, right? There was this intense energy pull between the both of us, and a lot of like what people would call telepathy going on between us. And I've never done that before. Telepathy, whatever that is, that's never happened. You know, and it was all new to me. And I literally just, it wasn't normal for me. And I just didn't understand at the time what was going on, because there isn't really no understanding it, right? I mean, who the fuck knows what that is? But it went on for almost 2 years. And then eventually I walked away. And then I ended up meeting someone else. But with this person, it was a little different. There was that intense energy pull between the both of us to the point it would give us anxiety. But when I first met this person, it was like very like, I thought it was it. I thought this has to be it. Like, they matched my energy so much as far as like what I wanted in a partner, right? So I thought, oh man, this is it. Like, I finally met my match. And it was wonderful at first. But then the energy just got more intense though. And it was really hard for the both of us to even be around one another. It was like I could feel what he was going to do before he would do it. And I feel like he felt the same thing too. Because he would say certain things and I was like, fuck, how do you even know? Like, and he would even say, like, I was about to just say that. Like, if I was going to say something, it's like he already like, yeah, it was a lot of telepathy shit going on without me even realizing that it was going on. It was a little bit different than the first guy. With the first guy, it was like we spoke to each other without speaking to one another. Let's put it that way. And the way he spoke to me was like through his poetry and shit like that. I don't know. It was just in riddles. But the second guy though, it was just so intense. The energy pool was, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But he didn't feel familiar to me, but I feel like, well, he did tell me that I felt familiar to him. He told me that. He's like, I feel like I've known you before. And I knew what he was talking about because that's what I felt with the first guy. So anyways, we only lasted for like 3 months at that. Maybe 2 months. I don't even really know. I don't fucking remember. I don't fucking remember. But we parted ways. But I knew something wasn't right before we parted ways. Because I could feel him pulling away. Energetically wise. Anyways, we parted ways. And then when we parted ways was when it spiraled. That's when something happened, and I don't know how the fuck it happened, but all of a sudden the obsessive thinking started to happen. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I couldn't shake him. And mind you, like, I barely knew this guy. We only dated for like 3 months, But it was like, I couldn't fucking shake them. And I couldn't understand why. I'm like, what the fuck? I was married for like almost 11 years. And never fucking did I ever experience anything like this. This is fucking weird. But I couldn't stop thinking about him. It was like repetitive. It was over and over. I'd be up all night. I literally thought I was losing my mind. I really did. Like, literally, I fell to my fucking knees and begged God, okay, apparently God, to take it away. Like, what the fuck is happening to me? And all of a sudden, like, I started seeing numbers. And I don't know if this has anything to do with him, but it happened when we parted ways. I started seeing fucking numbers. 11. The first numbers I started to see was 1010. I kept seeing 1010 over and over again. And then I started to see other numbers after that, like 1111, 444, 555. Like, all the numbers just started coming in full throttle. And I didn't know what the fuck that was neither. I didn't know what the fuck the numbers were. Didn't understand it until I went and looked it up on Google, and I found angel numbers. And then there's a woman that I followed on there. Her name was Joanne something, but it would give you like the definition of what the numbers meant. And of course, 1111 was tied to twin flames. Now I don't even know if twin flame, none of that has anything to do with one another, okay? But the numbers started coming in, and fucking birds, fucking crows and shit were all like showing up. And I know that sounds crazy. I don't know if any of you guys ever experienced that during your twin flame shit. But birds were really gravitated towards me. And I was noticing them where before I didn't notice them like that. But it's like I would feel the need to look. And there would be like, it was always 3 crows. They always came in 3s. And then they would come in packs sometimes and fly right over me. Out of nowhere, a whole bunch of them. I know that sounds crazy, guys, and like this sounds like crazy talk, but this is what was happening to me. And not just crows, like any bird, geese, fucking pigeons, all types of birds, and they still do it. But I'm so used to it now that it's not a thing anymore. The numbers aren't even a thing. It's just noticed. I notice it now, but it's not a, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? Oh my God. No, it's not that anymore for me. Anyways, the numbers were happening to me. The songs playing repeated, like over and over again, like Groundhog's Day. The same fucking songs and patterns would play on the fucking radio. And I thought, what in the fuck is this? And no matter where I would go, it didn't matter. I could be in the gym working out. The same song would play back to back that I was hearing on the radio. The same songs. What else? I could be at work and the same, we work in the kitchen and shit. And I, serving the patients that I had to, take care of. And, a lot of times they would play the radio and same fucking songs would play. And I was just like, this can't be real. That's what's happening to me. And through the songs, I literally felt like he was speaking to me through the song. Like, because that's what it felt like. Because I kept hearing them. The same ones in patterns. Every fucking day, all day. And then I started to hear his name. See his name everywhere. It didn't matter, man. Whether it was on billboards, on license plates. All y'all twin flamers, y'all know because you guys probably went through the same shit. Apparently, right? Billboards, fucking license plates. I'd see the name everywhere. I'm just like, what in the actual fuck is happening right now? Literally. And I couldn't talk to nobody about this shit because, people that haven't gone through it will think you're nuts. And I would literally... I'm sorry, I'm laughing about it now because it's so fucking hilarious. I would literally see people that would look just like him. I could go to the fucking store and I'm thinking, well, goddamn, I ain't never gonna I'm never going to get over this motherfucker because I'm seeing people that look like him now. Like, this is insane. Like, I've had breakups with other people and I never went through anything like this. But with this one particular person, it was insane. Like, I couldn't get away. I felt like I was trapped. It was like a movie. Like, oh man, it was like, somebody needs to make a movie about this whole twin flame thing, because I tell you what, it would be a hit, because it's just completely, oh God, insane. But magical at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It was like fairy tale-ish almost, because you don't hear of shit like this unless you've been through it. But anyways, what else would happen? There's so much shit, man. Oh, the telepathy shit. Apparently the telepathy shit was going on. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what's actually happening to me right now? So I started looking it up on Google, you know, and oh my God, I'd be up so late reading on it. And a lot of the stuff that I read about it resonated so much. I resonated with it so much. So I'd be up for hours reading on it. I couldn't fucking stop reading on twin flames. And I'm like, anything I could find, I had to. Even like movies, certain movies I would watch would hit me. And there's one movie that was really, there's several of them out there, man. Oh man, I can't even tell you. And I don't even know why I was put through that. I don't know, and I will never know, because it's unknown why I went through what I went through. I even became so fucking spiritual, and God, like, yeah. But anyways, I ended up getting through that whole thing. And once I was over him, someone else stepped in the picture. And it was the same thing as the first guy I met, where immediately when I met him, he felt familiar. Right away, the moment I looked into his eyes, it was like, oh my God, I know you. Like, I've seen you before. Like, even though I've never met him a day in my life, if he felt very familiar. And there was this intense energy pull between us. And there still is, because I'm still kind of dealing with him, but I'm not. I've kind of decided to back away, because I'm just not, man, I'm not here for the fuckery. You know, I don't want to deal with it anymore. But it's that intenseness, that energy pull with this guy. But with those two guys, the first one and the third guy, there was none of the obsessive thinking and fucking seeing the name everywhere and there's all that other shit. None of that stuff happened, right? It's only the telepathy, that whatever, the energetic telepathy, whatever, that I got with them, and the energy pool, just all that. The familiarity. Like with the second guy, I didn't recognize him until we parted ways. And then that's when the obsessive thinking started to happen, and what they would call the dark night of soul, right? The names popping up and all that shit, the numbers and blah, 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 right? He was the only one I went through all that shit with, the second guy. But the first guy and the third guy, no, it was just like the familiarity was right away. The moment I laid eyes on them, it was like, oh my God, like, I've seen you before, but then I never met you, but it feels like I've known you all my life, and I can't put my finger on it where I've seen you. I know this is confusing, guys, and that's just it. I don't really know what any of that shit was. I could sit there and say that the second one was my twin flame, because I went through the obsessive thinking, right? And I went through, you know, the signs and all that shit, the numbers, blah, blah, blah. I could say he's my twin flame, but what were the other two guys? Like, what the fuck was that? The familiarity, the intenseness, and all that. Like, what do you call that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, each and every one of those men was a connection that I've never had before with anybody. Just them three. And I don't know what you call that. I could say it was a twin flame. I could. But are they? Like, that's just the label that someone has slapped on a connection, that has put on a connection, like, whoop, you know, whoop, here you go, twin flame. There you go. That's a twin flame. I don't know what that was. What neither one of them were. But what I have realized is it's something I've never been through before. Never. And I don't know why it happened in order like it did. They all came back to back to back. And it's so funny with the two other guys, the first and the last, I lasted with it. It went on for 2 years almost for both of them. But the second guy was only 3 months. And that's what they normally say with the twin flame. You're with them. You're not with them that long. It's like a 3-month period and then you part ways. But then you hear other stories. Then you hear like some that last for longer than that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, every story is different. You can't compare it to anything. Everyone is different. I'll never know. I will never know what that was and why it is that I went through what I went through with each and every one of those men. It's a mystery. It is a mystery for sure. But yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know if any of you have went through that as well. You know, I'd love to hear different, people's stories, because it's like, wow. And at one time I probably would have said, oh, those were my twin flames, all 3 of them. But what's a twin flame? Really? No one knows why things happen the way they do. It's truly unknown. You can look it up. You can read up on it. But that's just what that person went through, and they're writing about it. Or they put it in Google, whatever. But no one, and they're assuming that's what it is, but no one really ever knows what and why those things happen. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting. It is. It's really interesting. I mean, a person can resonate because they went through it, and they can resonate with it, but doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is, though. That it's a twin flame thing or whatever. No one will ever be able to know. But I figured I'd get on here and talk about it. And I've talked about this before. But it's, it was on my mind. I was just thinking about it and figured I'd get on here and talk about it again. Share your story. And for those of you that would like to do a one-on-one, a Zoom, and talk about it, it's free. So, I'll leave my email below. And yeah, just email me and we can set up a Zoom. But I think I'm going to go for now. Mwah. Bye.